Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Avs taking on the St. Louis Blues as we're brought to you by Coors Light and Bet365. Justus Annunen in net for Colorado. Other than that, no lineup changes expected. Colorado looking to become a problem. I think we called it for 7 straight games in a row, but maybe on a more micro scale, looking to have a perfect 4-game road trip here heading into St. Louis. Eric, you talked about this the other day, but is it significantly different having those 2 days off, being able to take a pit stop in Colorado on the way out to St. Louis for what is technically a 4th road game?
It does, I'm not sure. Did they come home, though?
I don't know if they did or not.
I don't think
might
they
have
came
flown
home,
straight
but
out.
You know what I mean? Like, I assumed they were, just because of geography.
Either way, 2 days off on the road
That's
trip. Yeah.
what I was trying to answer. Is exactly your question. It was more, forget if they stopped here or not, but it does make a big difference because it gives you time to just have a reset and not have anything to do. I don't care if you're at home or on the road. Actually, it's even better, like I said, on the road when you have new guys, and it's a day to catch lunch with somebody else different. Not necessarily have a team event, which I'm sure they did during that road trip, but I'm talking about everybody together. But it's also just meeting different guys, just on your way to get a coffee, on your way to go walk around the park, wherever city they're in, or go see the Arch in St. Louis, and, whatever. Just kind of reset, no stress. Plus, I always tell you, like, the schedule in the NHL is absolutely ridiculous. It's tough on your body. And when you can find a day of finding a way to, even at the hotel, go to the sauna or something like that, just take care of your body, relax, and not put the gear on it makes a huge difference. And I think those guys have been awesome. I think Bednar and the staff have been really good about giving them days off, even at home. And it feels like usually after Christmas, it's like, but the Avs is so weird because they have those 2-3 days here and there, which is so rare that you see that, which is awesome. But I think these guys will do a good job, like how to manage the schedule. And I think that being on the road there is probably you're going to see a refreshed team after a very taxing game in Edmonton, which was, it was fun. It was overtime. Guys got some minutes, and it was an emotional game and probably a game that an opponent that you might see in the playoffs, right? So it's kind of nice to just get away for one of those days and probably do nothing. So I'm sure they appreciated it.
Megan, we've talked a lot about the, I don't know what you would call it, the goalie schedule, maybe the workload for Georgiev. He gets this one off even with 2 days off. Annunen gets another go at it. Realistically, how much of a difference is there in the Avalanche play between these two goalies at this point? When Annunen's in net, is there still that push for the Avs to pick up their backup goalie, or has there been a little bit more trust?
I still think there's a push, but honestly with both goaltenders, because there was a lack of trust with Georgiev through this point in the year. So that's why I feel like it's been applied equally, but perhaps for different reasons. And with Justus Annunen, it's just the lack of games under his belt. But I don't think he's treated like the young rookie goaltender in how the team views him. I do think that they want to rise to the occasion in front of him, but I also don't think that they're going to infantilize him too much at this point either. He has built a significant amount of trust and has played well against St. Louis. Am I remembering last year or the year before? It must have been last year.
I think it was last year, yeah.
Was it another afternoon weird game with Mikko Rantanen and Justus Annunen in net, if I'm remembering correctly? But they've played well in front of him before. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think that's why it's also a great game for him to get a start in, just to continue building confidence against a St. Louis team that has been playing well, at least over this last stretch. So it's something.
4 straight, is it, I think?
4 straight. So it's something that Justus Annunen can take pride in. They have the day off tomorrow too, so they really can just empty the tank tonight to include Justus Annunen in net and what he'd like to accomplish.
And he's played good, and he's played well enough to have them stay the course, like they said after the deadline. We're going to play him. I mean, I think C-Mac touched on it, saying like, hey, we really didn't know what he's capable of. He hasn't played. I mean, he had played 9 games till the deadline, like in the NHL in his career. So you don't know what that is. I mean, the sample is too small. But now it's like, let's let him play. And he's good. And he's played well. And what I love is the competition. I don't care. I hope he plays outstanding tonight. And then what it does is it just kind of brings Georgiev to keep going with what he, had a great game last game. And then you want him to just string 10, 12, 14, 15, 20 games, where we're like, oh, wow, what an awesome game, And I think you get that through internal competition. It does. I don't care that, if he feels that that's his net, which it probably is. But it's also nice to have a little competition because it does. It's like in the household. It's just between brothers and siblings and sisters. I mean, there's always competition.
Oh, they're competing with the guy in the other crease tonight as well. Jordan Binnington, say what you want about the Blues having not a great season, but Binnington has played pretty darn well for them. But I'm sure you talk about this in your 3 keys, Eric. Yeah. So let's get into those 3 keys.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Like I said, I was trying to keep our theme going here keep the Zamboni going. I was trying to use the terms that were used, right? The Blues are streaking, but so are the Avs, right? Yep. Blues are at 4, Avs are at 6, so somebody's losing their streak tonight. So keep being road smart. I thought they were so good last game. They were road smart. Did they make mistakes? Yes. Will they make mistakes today? Yes, they will. It's just life. It's the life in the National Hockey League. So, but just limit the mistakes and nothing free. Just keep being road smart, keep building confidence, and obviously it was a confidence builder game last game from your star players to your new additions to everybody kind of contributed to Georgiev. So it was a nice measuring stick, so to speak. You're talking about Connor McDavid and company and a team that's been so hot the last 40 games. It was awesome. So just keep going to Zamboni moving forward. Number 2. Go create below the goal line. I mean, make their D. I talk about it sometimes. I don't put it on the keys, but make their Ds turn their body. When your toes are pointing at the boards and not at the opposition's goaltender, it's a different game for defensemen around this league. Guys are so creative. Guys like middle stat. They have eyes behind the back of their heads. So go below the goal line. Go expose their D, and this is a D you can expose.
Yeah.
Number 3, match the intensity of the Blues. I mean, listen, mathematically, what is it, 5% chance they make the playoffs?
Very low, yeah.
But man, they've won 4 in a row. They refuse to die, and that's kind of what it does, right? Until you're out of it. If they're on their last leg, so that right now that they want to give it to the Avs tonight, and then the Avs have some talent, obviously in depth, and if you add intensity to that, you should take care of the Blues tonight because you're the better team, you're the better roster. So get in Binnington's kitchen. I mean, he's going to lose his marbles. He always loses his marbles against the Avs, but bring the intensity up. Treat this like a road. This is a good road building. I love that building. It's loud. It's fun. So at the end of the day, treat it like a playoff game tonight, and you're only going to better yourself for a few weeks from now when the playoffs are coming around. So that would be my keys.
I think part of the reality is you're looking at a team of St. Louis's caliber, and you're looking at an Avs team that is just about as healthy as it's going to be this year. Obviously, no LOC, which is unfortunate, but that's just the Avs' reality for the rest of the season. Yes, you have no Kovalenko, but he's not even a guarantee to be in your lineup come playoff time. On paper, you really should be getting the best out of the Avalanche right now, yes?
Yeah, it's the best we've seen. They actually have a 4th line they can deploy.
Use more than 4 minutes.
Really mean, but it's true.
Yeah. That's just the reality of the Avs lineup. And it's Bednar has always not shied away from using his security blankets, Cogliano. It was LOC before he got hurt, and that's fine. But you're now seeing on a more regular basis the Avs' ability to not have to shorten the bench, particularly in games where they might be down 1. And you've seen the MacKinnons now play 22, 23 minutes in a big game instead of 26, 27 minutes because you trust a third line of Colton Wood and Parise, or even a 4th line of Trenton Duhaime and Cogliano. Not necessarily to produce for you, but to play quality hockey and make the other team work. So hopefully you see the version of the Avs that you would expect with a lineup like this. Speaking of this lineup, who's got to eat? Who's going to go to Circle K? And is it just a Bluebird? Is that what the St. Louis Blues are? I mean, I know it's the jazz note. I get it. But what is the wing from? Are you allowed to eat bluebirds, or are they like a protected species? I don't know. Is OSHA going to come for me?
Are you allowed to eat bluebirds?
I've never eaten bluebird, so I don't know. Don't eat any Bluebirds. Go to Circle K instead. Eric, you're always first in with this. Who's going to eat tonight?
I'm going with my guy, Trennan. Lunch pail attitude, against a hard-working St. Louis Blues team. So I think he's going to fit in just fine tonight. He's been fitting more than just fine. He's been awesome on the PK, and he's been awesome on those key draws. But I do believe tonight he gets on the scoreboard a couple times, and he becomes the Circle K eater of the night for the Avalanche, in my book.
I'm always down. Trenton was my pick the other night. Megan, who do you got?
I want to see a good Miles Wood game, and good for what Miles Wood is, too. Like, he doesn't need to go out there and score 3 goals, but you can tell that he's been under the weather and just a little bit a shadow of the player that we know he can be. He can be such an impact, physical force type of player, causing chaos, creating
15
havoc.
games without a goal now, I think it is.
So I would love some production, and I'd love to just see him look more like himself. And that is acknowledging that he has been under the weather.
Literally
so
being healthy will help.
Exactly. Like, I just hope he's feeling better all around. And I want to see a great game from him. The Colton Wood, Parise kind of line, I think hasn't quite found the completion that we saw with Logan O'Connor that line. And even with LOC, they went through periods that weren't their best either. But I'd like to see that line really gel and be that dominant third line that we saw a little bit earlier in this season, and why Miles Wood was such a good fit here in Colorado.
You get that line rolling, and the Avs are going to be a real tough team to beat against anyone, I would say. It's a safe bet. My Circle K eater for tonight is going to be Cale Makar.
Nice.
Look, Eric mentioned it in his keys. The weakest point of this St. Louis team is absolutely their defense. And the Avs can counter that by having their defense being one of, if not the strongest points of their hockey team. Go out and show St. Louis what an actual defense looks like. Go out and show St. Louis what a true number one looks like. They've been trying to get away with Colton Parayko as their number one guy for a while now. Cale Makar's a little bit better than that guy. So, Cale, go get out there. Go own some St. Louis Blues. Go to Circle K. Get yourself some snacks. Also, sign up for the Inner Circle program. Get yourself 25 cents off a gallon, your first 5 fill-ups, and a bunch of other great snack deals on game day, including up to 5 free Polar Pops. Use that QR code on screen to get part of the Inner Circle today. I wanted to have this conversation too, because we've talked about this a lot, about playing your best hockey at the right time. The Avs have now won 6 in a row, going for 7. We're still almost exactly a month away from the end of the season. Are the Avs playing their best hockey too early?
I don't believe in that.
Okay.
And because, this conversation changes no matter how the team looks going into the playoffs. It's like, can they turn it back on again if they're playing some of their worst hockey at the end of the year? Yeah. And obviously, that 2022 year, they proved that they absolutely could.
Not difficult for them.
What was it Blaze was saying? Not concerned or something?
Yeah, he didn't have any concerns.
I have some concerns. I have no concerns for the Avs at this point playing great hockey right now, especially with new additions. I reiterate every pregame pod that good habits start,
of course,
by continuing to do them game after the game, and that's why it's important for them to play really great hockey now. And they've struggled on the road, so it's important for them to play good hockey on the road because they can't afford to not play it anymore. They kind of lost the games that they could let slip from their fingers early in the year.
Yep.
Because of the Central Division title on the line, that's why I don't think they can afford to really rest on their laurels too much.
Would agree.
I talked to a couple guys around the league yesterday and today, and honestly, just out of the blue, and both people said to me, talk about fixing the holes in a roster. They were saying kudos to the Avs and CMAC and the crew about, not just because of their win Saturday, but just the way they went about fixing the roster and, moving an anchor, Rigel, right? It wasn't working.
Yep.
And that's what I mean by an anchor. It wasn't working. And then fixing, with Walker and Middlestat and Trennan and Duhaime, it's, while losing LLC, masterful job, and that's what the people were saying. And they're like, you know what? They're just going to go on a tear right now. And I was like, I tend to agree. And you're talking about playing at the right time. It's always important. Are they going to drop games? Of course they're going to drop. maybe not, but maybe they will. And it's just normal. And as long as you stop the bleeding when you get out of it, and sometimes you do get out of it. Like it's, I don't know, maybe it's the first game back after a road trip for the week, and whatever it is, So, but I do believe in their roster right now, and I do believe that they are playing as good as they can be right now, and it's only going to get better as this is kind of fresh for a lot of guys.
Megan, you mentioned it, the push for the top of the Central Division. Winnipeg is playing right now 0-0 after the first against New York. You take a look at the standings. All three teams, Winnipeg, Colorado, and Dallas, at 91 points. Winnipeg has a game in hand on Colorado. Colorado, until the end of tonight, has a game in hand on Dallas. So, the Avs are right in the thick of it. They absolutely have an opportunity, particularly if they can make this a perfect road trip. Yes, Winnipeg will still have a game in hand no matter what tonight, but Colorado controls their own destiny at this point. They will have a head-to-head matchup against Winnipeg that can give themselves the opportunity to win the Central Division. Obviously, as Eric said, it's going to take a lot of wins. Probably don't have to win them all down the stretch, but you've got to win more than most of them if you want to win the Central Division. You look at the back of that, you're still looking at probably Vegas as the reward if you win the West, but that honor could still end up in Vancouver's hands. You get that second wild card, first wild card really. You get Nashville in the first round. I'm not saying the Avs should be afraid of anyone, but would you rather play Dallas or Nashville in the first round?
Nashville.
Not a hard choice, right? So maybe stick with that. There's very good reason for the Avs to want that top spot in the Central Division. Let's get into my bets. Have a little chat about the Avs winning this hockey game. I'm taking the Avs to win the first period. I would really like to see the Avs get rewarded in the first. I actually think through this road trip they've played some pretty good first periods, and at times things just haven't gone their way. Edmonton, the first period actually wasn't that great, but they didn't get scored on, so that was a plus. Keep doing that. Keep not scored on in the first period. Taking Nichushkin on the power play at plus 250, that's just good money for a guy who's been absolutely on fire since returning to the Avs. And then I'm putting my faith in Rantanen with the over on saves tonight. If you get this game from Rantanen, you get back at home, you maybe get another good game or two out of Georgiev, you really are starting to feel like maybe the Avs goaltending has turned the corner at this point in the season. Something we've been waiting for, honestly, all season. But I'm talking about peaking too early. I don't think it would be peaking too early for the goaltending. Hopefully that's continuing to be on the rise for Colorado. Going into tonight, it is the fourth game of a road trip. It's a desperate divisional opponent. Can you live with anything but a win? Is it okay if they drop this one? Or do they got to be able to pull it out?
I'll go first. For me, it's listen. As long as you're going to drop some. Like I said, if you play good and you give it all you got, and you're at the end of a road trip, and the cards fall that you lost the game, that is what it is. I mean, that's for me. That's how I look at it. That's how I've always looked at it. But if you get your best, you play, and no freebies, and the opposition is just outright beats you, then so be it. Move on, and try to get back home and have a couple more days off, and then maybe you talk about a trap game Friday against Columbus. I'm just saying that's just then that'd be the one that would piss me off. You know what I mean? So where this one tonight, it's a fighting team. You're at the end of a road. Let's give it all you got, and then go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, I think the effort will determine how I feel about a win or a loss.
Okay.
It's been good effort. Obviously the starts of some of their games have left a little bit to be desired, but the effort, especially in coming back when they've trailed, has been right where I want to see it.
So a team you feel pretty good about then. I think through a significant portion of this winning streak for Colorado, we felt like a lot of these games have been outright must-wins. Maybe giving them a little bit of leeway. Of course, you would want them to win every game, but playing good hockey, you go 3-1 on a road trip, hard to feel that bad about it if it does end up there. Of course, you want it to be 4-0, but Avs in a pretty good spot. Hopefully, they can keep it rolling tonight. Any final thoughts before we get out of here for pregame?
Well, maybe I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of all of us here at DNVR Avalanche, and thoughts and prayers are with the passing of former original Avalanche Chris Simon, great guy, beloved teammate, and wish his family the best of everything in these tough times. So just wanted to take 2 minutes and 2 seconds to acknowledge a great Avalanche, original Avalanche.
Always tough news to hear stuff like that. Do have one more thing about the game tonight. Me and Tiff were here early. We got our score predictions in. I need your 2 score predictions.
I'll go first, so I'll give Megan more time to think. I'm going to go.
You can say any 2 numbers and I'll accept it.
I'll say 4-2 Avs.
All right, that's close to Tiff's.
I was going to say 4-2.
That's
you
fine.
can
You
both
can
say 4-2.
All right. 4-2 Avs, to be clear.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
We're confident in the 4-2.
What did you say? Because I didn't listen.
I said 1-0 Colorado.
All right.
I like that.
Tiff had 5-2 Avs, so looks
right,
like the
close.
4-2-ish.
I just want MacKinnon to smoke them. So.
Yeah. I mean,
I want
I'm
a big MacKinnon game.
I am very here to be wrong and watch MacKinnon drop 4 on him. I'm here for that take. So hopefully we get that. No watch along today as we got a busy night. Both Nuggets and CSU Rams playing tonight. So going to be a busy one here at the bar. Come down. Have a vibe with us. Without the watch along, we will be back after the game breaking down whatever happens. Also follow us on Twitter for live game tweets if you want to keep up with us. We are out of here, but before we do get out of here, because I almost forgot, if you're betting with my bets on Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Go sign up with the DNVR 365 code at Bet365 today. All right, I got it in there. No one can be mad at me. We're out of here.
We all silly like the mayor.